The relationship between Diddy and Jennifer Lopez was not the healthiest one that had gone around. And now, J.Lo is speaking out about her bad relationship with P. Diddy after years of speculation. Lopez has also discussed the reasons behind her intense dislike of Diddy and the reasoning behind her choice to cut him out of her life. And surprise, surprise, Diddy's thirst for males plays a major role in it. So what was this recent tea about J.Lo's sentiments on her previous relationship with the rapper? Was Diddy's gender preference the reason for their breakup? She's now spilling all the tea, and we're here to savor it all. But of course, before we dive into that, make sure first that you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell for more updates and videos like this. Now let's jump in. After their brief affair, it seems that Diddy deserted J.Lo, and she was very hurt. When asked who among Ben Affleck or Diddy she would let drown, she responded that she would let them both drown. Jennifer had kept quiet about the famous relationship for so long, but now that she has started talking, it's just as awful as we had anticipated. According to her, it was the first relationship in which she constantly worried that her partner was having an affair. Jennifer Lopez and Sean Combs had a brief romance that lasted for roughly 18 months, but it ended up in being one of the most difficult times in her life. Jennifer has now given us a glimpse into the reality of her relationship with Diddy and how she was ultimately able to leave it. It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful. I was in this relationship with Puff, where I was totally crying crazy and going nuts. It really took my whole life in a tailspin, J.Lo said. Because of how awful things had gotten, she couldn't stop looking for Diddy for fear of catching him cheating. It must have been unbearable to be so convinced that the person you love may be lying to you at any time, especially if you believe your man is having extramarital affairs. Jennifer talked about this trying time in her life and remembered having to go knocking on hotel room doors looking for him. I can't remember right now, but I won't say it didn't happen. I never caught him, but I just knew he'd say he was going to a club for a couple of hours, and then he'd never come back that night, she said. And Lopez experienced a profound insight as a result. She didn't want to commit to a partner who was so untrustworthy. I had to think, do I want to be at home with kids in 10 years, wondering where somebody is at 3 in the morning? Her capacity to understand her connection as what it truly was, a toxic reliance that would only make her circumstances worse, was greatly influenced by this realization. The separation was rendered unavoidable down to the last detail by another event. While Lopez and Diddy were out partying, Diddy got into a fight with a bar patron. Security made an effort to separate the two and defuse the conflict. However, shots were fired right away. 3 people suffered injuries. A woman was shot in the face, while 2 men were hit in the shoulders. Diddy dramatically took Jennifer by the hand and walked her out of the club. When the police quickly stopped the Mercedes Diddy was driving, they discovered a revolver on the car seat close to Jennifer's feet. They were both taken into custody for having prohibited weapons. J.Lo spent 14 hours in the police station shackled on a bench. The policeman who was on duty said Jennifer was a complete mess. It's a really traumatic experience. She was crying all over the place. She was just upset about the whole thing, a police officer said. Fortunately, there was no evidence against her, so she was released after 14 hours. Nevertheless, the experience left her severely traumatized. Diddy was nonetheless imprisoned for a few days. The two were introduced to the public in a novel way. This tragedy caused both of them to crumble under the strain, and Jennifer was thrown into a situation she had little control over. The media was always after them, and to make matters worse, their ostensibly perfect relationship was starting to deteriorate. Diddy loved Jennifer, but he never showed it in a similar way. In reality, Diddy was still in love with his ex-girlfriend Kim Porter for the duration of their relationship, albeit there were rumors that he had a small amount of intimacy with some other musicians. Diddy eventually realized that despite having abandoned Kim for Jennifer, his love for her never faded. After considering everything, Jennifer came to the decision that calling it quits was the wisest course of action. He didn't even believe Jennifer when she eventually stopped their relationship for good cause because the two had such bad patterns and had broken up so frequently. Jennifer had to be able to gradually pull herself away from this toxic connection in order to quit harboring animosity toward it. She claims that Puffy is aware of her affection and concern for him. Jennifer and Diddy were once the most adorable couple in Hollywood. They were a fashionable pair who drew admiration wherever they went. They gave off the impression that they were very much in love. It seemed like they were destined to be together for a time. Jennifer thought that Diddy was the only one who genuinely understood her because he too was a celebrity and understood what it meant to be well known and constantly in the news. They bonded right instantly and seemed destined to be together. They both knew that no one else could have felt the same way they did. Diddy first met Jennifer while he was with Kim, but he was smitten with her right away. They actually had a love-at-first-sight moment. Jennifer was equally smitten with him as he was with her, and he could not bear to be without her. However, their relationship quickly came to an end after just 18 months, leaving the two of them in great pain. Jennifer ended their relationship, even though Diddy believed they should give it another shot. To make apologies, Diddy sent Jennifer hundreds of doves as a present. But when asked if the doves worked to get her back, J.Lo straightly answered, no. The act demonstrated that Diddy loved Jennifer as a person and understood the significant impact she had on his life, even though it did not succeed in getting Jennifer back. Although Jennifer is aware of how damaging and unhelpful that period of her life was for her, even now, she still manages to draw some valuable lessons from it. To be able to forgive someone for cheating requires a lot of self-work. Given that Diddy was perpetually in love with someone else, Jennifer had it even worse. She discussed this during an interview. The Puffy era was just kind of a crazy heightened time in my life. You know, Puffy and I both grew up in the Bronx. He had been in the music business and had all this success. I was just starting and making my first album when I met him. He became kind of a mentor to me at that moment. We had this kind of crazy, tumultuous relationship that ended in a bang. Despite the relationship being painful for Jennifer, she managed to recover and improve greatly. It was definitely a moment, but I felt like it was necessary. He was meant to be in my life at that moment to teach me about what I needed to know about the music business, about what kind of artist I wanted to be in the music industry. To make the relationship work, Jennifer did everything in her ability. The mental fog began to lift, though, as he dragged her to the police station with him. Now that she could understand ending this toxic and risky relationship and moving on was the only reasonable course of action. Fortunately, she was successful in doing that. Jennifer's fans were overjoyed that she was able to grasp reality and end the draining relationship. One admirer wrote, "I remember when Jennifer Lopez was dating Diddy. She was Jenny from the block after that shooting incident. The block got too hot, and she went back to being Jennifer Lopez. Some believe that while never coming close to getting married, they gave the impression to be one. The shooting incident served as the breaking point for the image of the perfect union." So will Diddy ever change his ways and finally become a person deserving of pure love? Well, I guess only time will tell. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.